Tonight, you are auditioning to be a lounge singer.
El Jefe.
El Jefe.
Let's do it.
Boom.
Hey, welcome to the Desert Brew. I'm Gene.
I'm Rashid.
Today we're at the Thompson Hotel, new downtown Palm Springs.
Hall wine tasting room.
Hall wine tasting room. We've been hanging out here a little bit, getting our wine on.
So we're already warmed up.
We're already warmed up. Been talking to Chris, who is the director of the wine tasting. And Hall. Hall is a family that has a large selection of wines. They've created this amazing tasting room.
Absolutely, and Chris today is going to take us through that.
Taste us through.
But not just us alone.
Not just us alone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know a lot about wine. I think Rashid probably knows more than I do. Just a little bit, or he claims, I'm not sure which. So I started asking Chris, what would I order when I go to my favorite restaurants or particular restaurants? And he was kind enough to say, why don't you invite them in?
Let's do it.
So we brought in 5 of our favorite restaurants.
Absolutely. So we have Trio, we have The Farm, we have Zin, we have Booze Hounds, and we also have the workshop as well too.
We do. And so we're gonna have a discussion about wine, gonna learn a little bit, and just have a good old time. We're gonna drink a little bit.
Of course. Yes.
The amazing Hall wine. So join us.
Let's do it. Today, we're getting active. Welcome back to the Desert Brew. I'm Rashid.
And I'm Gene.
And welcome to the first ever Mafia Brunch.
Mafia brunch. Oh, like restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. Look,
Palm Springs.
We brought the
Mafia
families of Palm Springs together.
I love that. I love that. Our host today, Chris Drum. You are the director, the boss, the man. You run Hall Wine.
I do. I run Hall tasting room here. So
I love it.
It's been a fabulous experience. I moved down here 3 years ago from Napa, and I kind of found my unicorn job in wine in Palm Springs.
So are you a sommelier?
I am.
Oh. What level?
I'm just I'm a som now.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be going for my advanced
Wait,
in the summer.
Sommelier?
Think of it like Jedi.
I thought it was like
It's not a jet. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
yes, there
There's
is
levels to this.
there
There's
is
levels to
multiple
this.
levels to the
Yes.
Som Jedi level.
You're just a som, or
I'm
you're
just
Sommel?
I'm level 2. I'm a level 2. I'm actually going to be doing my advanced this coming summer.
You seem very advanced. All the times we've
In
been here.
years and in wine drinking. So yeah. So
I understand that as well. No, you've been a great host to us every time.
thank
we
you so
come
much.
in. You really have.
It's great having you both. So.
Definitely.
And so, of course, we took advantage of that and asked what you thought about maybe bringing in some of our favorite restaurants. Because personally, I know that, Rashid, you think you're a sommelier full. I don't.
First of all, my thirst for knowledge does not stop me from drinking. Okay.
Perfect. I, however, can admit when I'm not versed on something. So
Sure.
You've been so kind to us, and I had asked and had a conversation with you. Could we bring in, or could we invite some of our local favorite restaurants?
Absolutely.
And because I would love to be or a lot more educated when I go out to a restaurant on how to pair things, and with some of my favorite meals, which all of you serve. I love that.
Well, these are some of my local favorites as well. I've been to every single restaurant tour place who's sitting here, so we spend a lot of time, of course, since we're so close across the street at Tequila. I've spent countless times. I've graced the bar at Booze Hounds multiple times with Mindy in both workshop and Trio as well. So we're really happy to have you guys a part of this today.
Well, let's kind of make some introductions to the people at
Let's
home
do it.
who's
Absolutely.
sitting at the table today. So let's start with my left.
I'm Michael. I'm from Workshop Kitchen and Bar, Trustance Wine, And we're building a little brand called Noble Yeast with our trailer-mounted pizza oven, which we're having some fun with catering and private events.
I'm Elizabeth Stoyich, and I'm with the Farm Restaurant. That's who I'm going to talk about a little bit more today, but I also own Tequila, Clandestino, and the Front Porch.
Mindy Reed. I own Zin American Bistro right downtown Palm Springs. I've been there for 21 years, so I'm probably the oldest restaurateur at this table.
Love is in bites.
Maybe in more than one way.
Not the oldest, maybe the longest standing.
Experience. We don't count years.
I'm Brian Rogers, and I own Hounds on the north side of Palm Springs. We have not been there for 15 plus years, but I think we've made a pretty big impact in the few years that we've been here, so happy to be here.
And unique about, I just want to point out what's super unique about your restaurant, obviously in the name, Booze Hounds. For those of you who are visiting, is that you can bring your animals. All animals or just dogs?
I mean,
Can I bring my mountain lion?
technically you could. I wouldn't suggest it. Every now and then we do get someone who tries to bring a cat into a dog-friendly restaurant, which I think is not the wisest decision. But,
They're bold.
Yeah.
Bold. You know, it's a little bit of bold and arrogant. It's a little bit. Yeah. Cat owners a little bit arrogant.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, I have to share on this. With a place called Farm, people think that they can do all kinds of things. So I have actually had a pig.
Oh no.
And I've had
Nice.
a chicken dropped off.
What?
Just dropped off in the middle of the night, thrown in the back.
No!
We had a guy come in with two different macaws, just walking around the atrium and just passing out treats and going tableside. Every dog was losing their mind. It was really exciting.
Tony Marchese owned Trio Restaurant here in the Uptown Design District. And Trio's where Palm Springs eats.
Today, we're getting active.
So we just opened November 9th here. So we're the new kid on the block. So thank you for having us. So the Halls, Craig and Catherine, are very invested into this community. So anywhere they kind of they go, they want to be a part of. And so me being down here, and like I said, finding a unit card job, it was just a fantastic mix. We're going to be tasting 2 wines today, some of our flagships. We have 3 current brands. We're adding champagne come the spring. Champagne, not sparkling wine. It's official. So Mike Reynolds, who's our president of our company, he made Stromsburg before coming on to Hall for 7 years. So super talented man. Catherine had been trying to convince him for years, and I think she finally broke through. He's actually leaving for Champagne Friday to kind of finish up the final and get this wine back over.
Rashid, that's a place in France.
See, you mistake yourself, Gene. I know this. So for those at home that don't understand the difference between sparkling wine and champagne, can you tell a little bit about the history of that?
Sure. I love talking about champagne. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. So what's really cool about champagne, it was actually discovered by accident. A lot of people credit Dom Perignon for discovering champagne. He was a master blender. He would take offerings from all these churches around. He just wasn't fermenting the wine all the way dry. So these caves would heat up and the yeast, still sugar left over, the yeast would eat the sugar, and all of a sudden these barrels, they're called bungs that sit on the top, blowing out, wine spilling all over the place, and someone said, hell, let's just drink it anyway. And so champagne kind of came about that way. So they do a primary fermentation, which is just the making of the wine, and then they actually take yeast and a sugar liqueur in almost looks like a beer bottle cap. And it's one of the most amazing things to see in a cellar. When they put they sit out with like really thick rubber mats and they bang, 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 shake them up. This is all method de champenois, means done in the method of champagne, all done by hand. And then they'll stack them in these caves and just let it sit. Well, the yeast they're now there with the sugar liqueur, eats the sugar, creates the CO2, which creates the tiny bubbles. Anybody know the Don Ho song, Tiny Bubbles? That's where it came from. So the thinner the stream, the tighter the bubbles are, the smaller they are, you know it's a high quality champagne.
Obviously, you have a wide selection of wines.
Yes. Make about 50 different wines.
So why these three?
Well, first of all, what I wanted to really focus on today was some of our flagship wines, Catherine Hall, and Walt, which is an ode to Catherine's dad.
Okay.
So
Because her family was in wine.
family was into business. Her dad bought a vineyard in '72 in Mendocino, and that's what started her passion and love for wine. So this is an ode to her dad. These are our flagship wines. The Bob's Ranch, this is a Pinot Noir. We have over 27 different clones of Pinot in this vineyard. Our Cabernet here, so the Catherine Hall, our Cabernet here, reminds me so much of her because she's such an elegant, graceful person. And this is the way this wine drinks. Primarily, this comes out of a vineyard in Rutherford called Sacrochet, which is actually where the Halls have a home in Rutherford. And then we actually blend some of our vineyard partners' fruit into this as well. And then last but not least is Baca, which is our Zinfandel brand. This is her daughter, Jenny. She wanted something playful. That's why if you look at the labels, they're all kind of named after kids games. This is Double Dutch, Somersault, Tug of War. And it was meant to be playful and just kind of fun. I think a lot of times, especially what Mindy was saying about wine lists being too big and being a little scary, what I try to do mostly is I love about making wine inclusive, not exclusive.
Yo, the Brew Boys are here.
My first experience with wine was working in a nightclub, and it was with a 187 screw cap, and I tasted it, and I was literally like, I don't know why anybody drinks this. This is the most vile thing I've ever tasted in my life, and I never really drank wine again. Until I started dating the chef. So that's definitely where I fell in love with wine. It's probably an old Burgundy that I think was probably my first love, and I still love them.
Let's say, for example, Valentine's Day. That's a good one. How would you pair? What's your signature dish and something that you're known for, or that you personally is your favorite at the restaurant? And what type of wine? How would I know what to pair with, or what would you suggest? I just want to go around and hear this from each of you. So,
When my husband and I first married 20 some years ago, I cooked a lot, and so I would cook at home, and we would buy red wine, and I found that I just practicing, I found that I love Zinfandels. Yeah. So, and I realized then that, especially now, why I like Zin, because it's a higher alcohol content, because it's a higher sugar content, and so it's jammy, and it was easy for me with the palate that I had at the time. And I'd say I still really like a good Zin, but when I started farm, I had to expand, because like Mindy said earlier, you tend to put things on the menu that you like, especially when you're younger and less experienced. So I was like, everything is a Zin.
But one of our signature dishes is probably our short rib. It's two made onion rings on top of it. My favorite is our pork chops. And I just drink Pinot. I mean, probably the cab would go well with it too, but I'm kind of a Pinot guy.
New York. So I came up in the New York food and beverage scene, and
Some heavy cities. I'm just like, okay, I'm about to throw in something.
I'm from DC originally, and coming up to New York and immediately getting in I also come from the arts, so which means naturally you fall into the restaurant industry. New York just is a whole different animal for the food and beverage scene, and they take education very seriously wherever you're working. And so I fell in love with educators who would come into the restaurants and walk us through they were teaching us how to sell is what they were doing, but you really sort of learned about terroir and about the winemakers, and so you're getting all these sales points, but you're also getting an understanding of why they make the wine the way that they do and why it comes from this region, why it tastes that way. So I couldn't pinpoint an actual day, but early 20s in New York.
So what was the type of wine?
Type of wine, probably Pinot Noir. I couldn't tell you the exact type of wine, but I've loved Pinot Noir since.
I think the idea of wine and the romance of wine really appealed to me through books in the beginning. High school. Through reading, Grapes of Wrath or Alexander Dumas or Victor Hugo, and all of these settings of this atmosphere and wine. And I think that sort of helped to paint the romance of it for me. In college, I started working in Italian restaurants in North Beach in San Francisco. And the front of house were a bunch of rowdy young Italians, and we'd go out afterwards and have a great time. It was just a great culture. And that's really where they taught me, we're drinking Barolos and Gatinaras, and, just making our way through an incredibly diverse wine region.
Today, we're getting active.
Every time I smell and think about this wine, it reminds me, Catherine's personality is so much in this wine. She is unbelievably elegant, just really well spoken. There's just an overall, throughout the whole entire thing, sophistication. So, and every time I've talked to her, it always makes me think of, this wine makes me think of her, which is so named. So, but when you taste this, you get a lot of dark fruit. This vineyard here, Sacre, is truly tucked in a space in Napa Valley on the eastern side, which there's two mountain ranges, the Mayacamas and the Vaca. The Vaca is on the east, so this sits on the east side, just south of Howell Mountain, just north of a place called Pritchard Hill, which is some of the top cabs in Napa Valley.
Well, I say cheers to Catherine Hall.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. And
cheers.
Maybe next time
Cheers.
she'll join us.
Yes.
Maybe next time she'll
I will say
join
this. This wine is just how I like my women, with legs. But it's not necessarily just the legs. It's when I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. Right?
Why?
It's just not the legs.
No
the
wonder
wash.
why you can't. All the women at the table are thinking, no wonder why he can't get a wife.
First of all, that's between me and God, not you.
God is a woman, I heard.
Oh.
There you go.
Keep sipping.
What amazes me, moving to Palm Springs, I just think is a magical place.
Okay.
It's magical that you're such a close-knit community that these restaurants can come together and share their experiences, and that you're hosting this. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
It couldn't get better than this. Seriously, you guys, thank you. This is a great place to start, right inside the front lobby.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate to land in my sweet spot.
Yeah.
So,
I want your job.
It's taken.
You know, I'm the most unqualified person
You're gonna
that
have to read,
possibly
Gene.
could.
You're gonna have to read.
I'm gonna have to read and taste a lot of wine.
Yes.
I'm not opposed-
Well, we're
I'm
happy
opposed
to help.
The latter.
We're happy to help anytime. So.
No, but seriously, I don't know of another community where all of you are friends and come together and share your experiences, and there's enough for everybody in this town to all do well and learn from each other. So from me, I say thank you. From the Desert Brew, I say thank you, and thank you to the halls in this beautiful
thank you.
hotel.
It takes a village, right? You know.
It does.
So.
All right.
With that being said, cheers to Palm Springs.
Cheers.